Why India still depends on imports despite being a huge country. Today, India is the world's fifth largest economy, a nuclear power, a space power, and one of the fastest growing major markets in the world. Yet despite all this growth, India still imports massive amount of goods every year. Crude oil, electronic, semiconductors, gold, defense equipments, solar cells, even edible oils. So the question is, if India is such a huge country with such a large population, why does it still depend so heavily on imports? No country in the world is completely Atmanirbhar. Even the United States import products. China imports energy and food, Japan imports raw material. Globalization connected economies together. Countries now specialize in different sectors, trade with each other. But India's import story is deeper than just global trade. India imports nearly 85% of its crude oil needs. This dependence increased rapidly after India opened its economy in 1991. More industries, more transport, more vehicles, more electricity demand. All of this required energy. The problem is, India simply does not have the enough domestic oil reserves to meet the demand of 1.4 billion people. This is why countries like Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Russia and the UAE became critical for India's economy. And this is also why global wars directly affect India. For example, during the Russia-Ukraine war in 2022, global oil prices surged. Again in 2026, tensions around Iran and the Strait of Hormuz create fears over oil supply disruptions. Whenever oil price rise globally, India import bill increases. And when the import bill increases, pressure comes on the rupee, inflation, and foreign exchange reserves. Now let's move to electronics. India is one of the world's largest smartphone markets. But for years, most demand and electronic components came from countries like China, Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan. The biggest example is semiconductors. Semiconductors are tiny chips used in phones, cars, laptops, satellites, defense systems, and almost every modern machine. Today, Taiwan alone controls a massive share of advanced chip manufacturing through companies like Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. India consumes electronics at a massive scale, but manufacturing advanced chip required decades of infrastructure, billions of dollars, stable electricity, water supply, and extremely advanced technology ecosystems. This is why India still imports most semiconductor-related products. Now, another important question comes up. Why didn't India build these industries earlier? The answer lies partially in history. After independence in 1947, India followed a controlled economic model. Industries were heavily regulated under what became known as License Raj. Private businesses needed government approvals for expansion, manufacturing, imports, and production. The goal was self-reliance. But over time, excessive regulation slowed industrial competitiveness. Then came 1991. India faced a major economic crisis. Foreign exchange reserves had fallen down so low that India reportedly had only weeks of imports left. After this crisis, the government under Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao and Finance Minister Manmohan Singh introduced economic liberalization reforms. India opened its economy to global trade and foreign investments. This accelerated growth, but it only increased dependence on imported goods and global supply chains. Now let's look at another sector, which is defense. India is one of the world's largest military powers. Yet for decades, India imported fighter jets, engines, submarines, rifles, and missile systems from countries like Russia, France, Israel, and the United States. Why? Because defense manufacturing is extremely complex. Countries protect military technology aggressively. Even allies rarely share top-level systems fully. This is why India launched initiatives like Make in India in 2014 and Atmanirbhar Bharat in 2020. The goal was simple: increase domestic manufacturing and reduce strategic dependence on imports. And slowly, some changes are visible. India now manufactures mobile phones at large scale, indigenous missile systems, INS Vikrant aircraft carrier, Tejas fighter aircraft, UPI digital payment infrastructure, and increasing railway and defense equipment domestically. Apple supplier also expanded manufacturing in India after 2020. But transitions take time. China spent nearly 40 years becoming a manufacturing hub. India is still building infrastructure, logistics, industrial corridors, ports, supply chains, and skilled labor networks at scale. Another major reason behind imports is consumer behavior. India imports huge quantity of gold every year. In financial year 2026 alone, gold imports touch around $72 billion. Why? Because gold in India is not just jewelry. It is also seen as savings, security, status, and tradition. Similarly, India imports edible oils because domestic production still does not fully meet demand. Now, here is the important part. Import dependence is not automatically a weakness. The real issue is whether a country is building long-term capacity alongside imports. And this is where current policy direction becomes important. India today is trying to balance both realities, continue growing globally while also increasing domestic manufacturing. This is why you constantly hear terms like Make in India, semiconductor mission, renewable energy expansion, because the larger goal is reducing strategic vulnerabilities over time. And perhaps that is deeper reality behind this entire debate. India's import dependence is not simply because the country is weak. It is also because modern economies are interconnected, industrial transition take decades, and demand in India is growing faster than domestic capacity in many sectors.